We originally developed Voiceitt, and we created this company to help a person with non-standard speech to communicate and be understood. So that is and was our first product. It's a mobile application. It learns the person's unique way of speaking and then translates for them in real time in any language, in whatever level of speech impairment, um, so that they can communicate, order coffee in a coffee shop, speak to a medical professional, or simply say, I love you to a loved one. So we released this application, and we learned from our community that this first product enabling in-person communication is transformative and empowering for users who often have speech and who often have motor control or cognitive or visual impairments in addition to a speech impairment as well. And what we learned is, although enabling in-person communication is so impactful, we could do a lot more by enabling the person to essentially communicate, interact with, and control their machines. I think it's fair to say that there's no better time in human history to be involved in voice technology, whether it's smart homes, smart cars. Virtually raise your hand if you have Siri on your iPhone, or use Amazon A word, which I can't say because she is in the room. But many of us are using these voice technologies on an everyday basis. But what we learned from our community is that many people who can benefit from these technologies the most cannot access them because they have non-standard speech patterns. And that led us to opening the capabilities of our technology to enable integration and open the world of voice technology and voice-enabled devices, platforms, and software to all people, regardless of their physical or diverse abilities.
For me, from my perspective as a speech language pathologist, I see that Voiceitt is really filling a gap and a need for people with non-standard speech. And as a speech language pathologist, we have many tools at our disposal to help people with impaired speech. Oftentimes, people who are seldom understood by unfamiliar listeners are given AAC devices, augmentative and alternative communication devices, for the purposes of communication with others or with their smart home technology or smart assistants. However, there really isn't anything out there to help individuals who consider themselves verbal speakers, who are generally understood by their familiar listeners, by their caregivers, but not understood by unfamiliar listeners. And so Voiceitt really comes in to fill that gap for those people and allow individuals to use their voice. This is a human need to want to be able to speak using their own voice in the first person to communicate with other people and other smart home accessibility features.